This game right here, unbelievable. Welcome to a post-game edition, 63-21. Chargers lose to the Raiders in embarrassing fashion. Just when you thought the season couldn't get any worse, the Chargers lose. They fall to 5-9 on the season to the hated Raiders. And guys, I don't even know what to say. I mean, we were picking who we thought would win and everything else when we do our picks a couple days ago. But this was unbelievable. Mario, I believe you had 9-7 as your prediction that nobody was going to score in this game. Who would have guessed that the Chargers offense would supply all the points for the Raiders defense to just sit there and punch it in? What a disaster. There's so much to talk about tonight as we just jumped on as soon as the game ended. Josh, I'm going to let you start first.
The Mario was closer. The Raiders are closer to 97 than 9. Yeah, that's crazy. It's just funny, man. We start off the show laughing because it's become a joke, right? The Brandon Staley get fired thing. That is so like behind us. Like he should have been fired already. He shouldn't be there. Give the guy a break. Like get rid of him. The guy's totally outmanned. Richard Sherman talks about firing him at halftime. Dude, just let him ride it out at this point. The season's lost. The Charger players quit. You have a guy that runs a ball in from 44 yards out that's 400 pounds and nobody on the Chargers is even near him. It just shows the team has quit completely. I don't know what to say. I was actually rooting for the Raiders to keep scoring because I thought it was really entertaining. It was the way of getting me to keep watching. It's just a joke, Mario. There's no other way to put it.
Oh, it was an absolute joke. I wanted 70 so bad just to see 70 on the scoreboard. I was just like, just keep doing it. And for the sole fact of, we say this, when you're on prime time, the world sees you. There's no hiding in a 1 o'clock window, no hiding in a 4 o'clock window. The world just saw that Brandon Staley is a clown. That's what everyone just saw. Now everyone knows it. There's no more defending him. He's a clown. And you had the Richard Sherman going, I don't want to talk about another man's job. And there's a lot of that tonight. I don't want to talk about another man's job, but I'm going to talk about another man's job. Like,
exactly.
That's my favorite when people do. I don't like to, but I'm going to do it. Okay, well, you just did it. But no, Staley's a clown, and he's going to be jobless. And, if he needs a job, they're probably remaking an It movie. Shout out Stephen King. You should probably go apply for that role. If I could get it, because he's a freaking clown. He's a joke. He made the Chargers a joke. And now the police sirens are going off because Brandon Staley needs an escort out of LA.
All right, there's so many things to talk about with Brandon Staley. And, of course, we'll get into the game a little bit, what we saw, what we, take away from this game with the players actually on the field. I will say this. I will be extremely upset if they fire Brandon Staley tomorrow or tonight or before the season's over. Until the season's over, because this is what you put the Chargers through and their fans, especially guys like us. This is what you put us through. We called this over a year ago, but yet you're going to sit there and write it out. So you better write it out to the end. You're going to sit there and you're going to take your medicine and you're going to eat your S sandwich the way the rest of us have. And if Dean and his sons feel like, man, we're feeling pressure from the Charger fans that we have to fire him, it's too late. You don't do it right now in December. For what reason? Because finally your eyes were open now when it means absolutely nothing. You're 5-9. We know what the schedule is the rest of the way. You are setting yourself up for the draft, maybe by accident, because right now going to the season, this was supposed to be a playoff team. Staley is overmatched. He's been overmatched for this job since he got it. It was a bad hire. It was a coach that they could push around, and that's why he got the job. It's embarrassing. I'll tell you, just looking at Brandon Staley, I turned to Josh during this game, and I said, I know they make a lot of money, but I don't think I could do it. I mean, it's a lot of money to know you are going to be embarrassed nationally. You're going to be looked at as a joke. You are never going to get a head coach in a job again at the NFL level, probably not a college level either. And I don't know who would hire you as a defensive coordinator. You're supposed to own that side of the ball. You just gave 63 to the Raiders, a team that couldn't score the week before. 0. The Raiders scored 0 against the Vikings the week before at home, and yet they gave up 63. So what do you do well? It's ridiculous. You take your medium polo shirt, you go in the parking lot, you cry because this is what you signed up for. And at the same time, when you look at what Brandon Staley is doing, he's got killed tonight on the national broadcast. He got drilled by other people all over the nation that's sitting there saying, I played in this league, and he's not an NFL guy. Look, the way it goes today, it's going to be worse tomorrow because every radio station, every podcast, every TV show that talks NFL, they're going to go after Brandon Staley. And you go, was it worth it? Was it worth the paycheck to sit there and take the beating that you're going to take on your way out the door and probably end your career? It's awful.
Awful. It's not even worth it, in my opinion. I think you know, I've never heard of a coach stepping down during the year, resigning, but he really should consider this because he's turned into a complete joke. Everything on Twitter today was all about Brandon Staley and how bad of a job he's done. And he's the worst coach in the league. We all know that. This team sucks. Let's not just blame Brandon Staley here. He deserves a lot of the blame. This team actually sucks. John Spanos and Tom Telesco, the two guys that put this team together, have done an awful job. Justin Herbert, you guys, you know, let's talk about that for a little bit. Justin Herbert, everybody wants to talk about. It's a miracle the Chargers have 5 wins. I agree. From what we saw tonight, it is an absolute miracle that Justin Herbert has helped this team get 5 wins. Why would you want to see Justin Herbert suffer like we saw Phillip Rivers suffer? Do you think there's any plan with the Chargers right now that they're going to turn this thing around soon? We've talked about how they need to do a rebuild ASAP. Why would you want to see Justin Herbert continue to suffer? I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan. Mario's a huge Justin Herbert fan. Dave's a huge Justin Herbert fan. Why would you want to see this guy get the crap beaten out of him for the rest of his career with the Chargers? I want him to be a Charger. You all want him to be Chargers. But why do you believe anything is going to change with him as a Charger? You're on mute, buddy.
Muted.
Sorry, there's crime going on. All right, but like I think it comes at the most crucial point of look. All right, easy, smart ass. All right, Raiders, like you lost to the Raiders. You gave up 63 points to the Raiders. You lost 63-21 on the national stage. Like this is the ultimate time of where after this game, there is no after, you know, you don't go talk to the team still. You don't do anything. You don't talk to the team either, Tom. Like I'm Spanos. We're all going to have a conversation right now in the room and go, hey, we did something that a lot of franchises never do. We hit at quarterback. We hit it. We got it. We hit the lottery. We got it, right? And we did that back-to-back times. We did it with Phillip, and we did that with Justin Herbert. This is awesome, guys. But with Herbert, we just ruined the years of him on a rookie contract. We can really build the team. We blew that up. See you later. That's gone. Kiss it goodbye. Now we're at this point where we have him signed to a max deal. Now you got to figure out how to pay guys, get guys with him on this max deal money, and also make sure that he does not request a trade, not leave right after the end of the deal, because he's still going to be pretty young at the end of this deal. And I don't know if you guys realize, but the greatest quarterback we've ever seen of all time played till he's 45. I don't know what type of medicine we're going to have within, you know, the next coming years. Maybe Herbert can play longer, but there needs to be some type of plan, a structure, a new minds in that room of going, this is what we need to do moving forward. Because right now we have a little bit of what a team needs to be successful. We got to find that other 90% that we're still missing. Because right now, I think, Dave, the Chargers are 5 guys away from being 5 guys away. That's what they are right now. I think that's exactly where they stand right now. And something needs to change. And I think the war room tactic needs to be put in after this brutal game against the Raiders, who also, by the way, suck with an interim coach.
So, okay, one thing I'll say about the Raiders that's different than the Chargers, at least Mark Davis, and people want to make fun of him for every little thing that he does, whether it's the way he looks or his stupid haircut or the fact he's not his dad. At least Mark Davis has the guts to get rid of a coach in the middle of the year. He's done it multiple times. At least when he knows it's not working, hey, I owe it to this fan base. Nobody is more loyal to their fan base as an owner than Mark Davis. And I mean, I give him a lot of credit for that. And the fan base is important. I understand people will say, and I've said it too, TV money is all that matters, that you really don't need a stadium to put fans in because the amount of money is nothing compared to the TV dollars. But Mark Davis at least can tell when you're drowning. Dean, I was shocked Dean even, stood there that long to go through the entire game when they show him in the luxury box. I mean, if I was Dean at halftime, I'm like, start up the car. We're going to the airport. And you know what? You can take that other plane that the players are on, have it follow me back to LA too. Let those guys figure out how to get home. It's a 5-hour drive. They can all Uber it for all I care on their dime. I mean, it was ridiculous to sit there and go, I'll be honest, if I was an owner, wait, I paid for a road trip. I paid for food and I paid for your travel and I paid for your hotel for this, for that performance. That's absolutely ridiculous. How do you show up if you're the Chargers at your next practice, Mario? What goes through your mind? And I'll be honest with you, how do you look Khalil Mack in the face if you're one of those guys? I'd be so embarrassed to wear a Charger uniform and look Khalil Mack in the face and go, man, I don't belong in the same football field with the greatness of you. This team stinks.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is one of those days where the next day of practice, I like to call this the Indiana high school basketball coach tactic. Long name, we'll work on it. But it's when you don't get a practice jersey that says the team name on it. You just get a jersey. You don't get a helmet with the Chargers logo on it. You just get a helmet. Because let's be honest, guys, like none of these guys deserve to be on an NFL team tonight. Like none of them did. We could tell from the first snap that every single one of them did not want to be there and did not give one F about being out there tonight, which is crazy to me. It's like, dude, you're getting paid that much money. Just go out there and hit somebody as hard as you can and at least play your ass off or something. But these guys didn't do that. And it's like you're an embarrassment to the Los Angeles Chargers organization today. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, like they were. The coaching staff was, the players were, the owner was. They were an embarrassment to the city of Los Angeles, which, by the way, it's pretty hard to do because the Angels do it a lot. And the Clippers always find a way. And then now the Chargers are in this spot. And now I think, Josh, it's you get a white helmet with nothing on it, and then bring your own lunch today, pal. You don't get to eat in the cafeteria.
What are your thoughts on firing Staley? Are you for them doing it now, or you want them to do it at the end of the season? How do you feel about that, Mario?
I think you do it now because you send a message to the fan base. You send a message to the fan base, and I think it's also a move that Telesco does to like try to get on the good side of Dean. Hey, we're gonna fire him now because we just lost to the Raiders by 60. I mean, we put up 63 points, lost by 20. Gets an interim head coach because I feel like there's one thing about Spanos, Dave, is that he does not want to get embarrassed on live television in front of everyone, in front of a rival. I feel like that's got to be the final punch in the nuts, the right nut, goner. No kids.
Okay, look. In my opinion, as I said, I don't want to see them fire Staley. I think it just shows you how dumb you actually are. To fire a guy now, you're 5-9. Like, dude, right now you aren't making the postseason. This is the guy that's going to give you the best chance of getting that pick. And then when you fire everybody, meaning Telesco and Staley, you can say, look, we're starting brand new. And we have hopes that the new guy has a plan to turn this around. And it's important to this fan base to do it now. Just shows you're the biggest idiot going. It's like calling the fire department after the house is already burned down. What's the point? It's over. I mean, Dean, for a guy who doesn't want to be embarrassed, sure gets embarrassed a lot. I mean, how many times is he going to step in it over and over and over again? It's a mess. And we've spoken about this before. The sad thing is when it's all said and done and Telesco goes home tonight and tells his wife that, hey, make sure you don't go crazy on the Christmas gifts. This is probably the last check I'm going to be getting for a while. Is that Telesco's gone and Staley's gone, but John's still there. John Spanos is still there. And from what we've been told, he has more to do with this roster than anyone else. Mario, I'm not even so sure that these guys didn't care to be out there because, as we all know in this physical sport, when you don't give 100%, that's how guys get hurt. The wrong guys are on this field. The wrong guys are wearing the uniform, and guys aren't prepared. I think it stinks all the way through. The roster is terrible. The coaching is terrible. The instruction is terrible. I'm sorry, Darius Davis, another disappointment. Quentin Johnson, another disappointment. The guys all over the place. Easton Stick's lucky to be a backup quarterback in this league. I mean, sorry. I mean, he's lucky. He made one nice pass to Josh Palmer where I went, that was a good pass. Everything else looked like he had no idea what he was doing. The play where he ends up fumbling the ball because the guy goes around Rashawn Slater, he ran into that tackle. It wasn't Rashawn Slater did a pretty good job holding that guy off for a long enough time for an NFL quarterback to get rid of the ball, but it made Slater look like an idiot on that particular play because he ran into that guy. Overall, man, these aren't NFL players.
They're not. No, they're not NFL players. There's problems all over the team. You touched on Darius Davis, buddy. You can't have the ball just stripped out of your arms like you're a little child on a punt return and then drop a pass and they get the crap beaten out of you. And then you actually make a really nice play and you run back a punt return. And then you have Stone Smart hold the punter. Have you ever seen a hold on a punter? On a punt return?
Why?
He wasn't like, what are we doing? That doesn't even make any sense. It's the craziest stuff. Easton Stick, I don't think play that bad. I don't think he has any pocket awareness when he makes that one play where he fumbles. But, dude, his numbers actually aren't that bad. 23 for 32, 3 touchdowns. He is just a guy, but it wasn't his fault today. This is squarely on Spanos, the whole family. You start with Dean, then you can go down to John, and you go to Telesco also, and then you can put on Brandon Staley for even being in this position. And then you can put on the players. I mean, it's a whole thing. It's everybody's fault. But, dude, the players on the team just suck. And the coaching is god-awful. There's so many problems. The Justin Herbert thing that everybody wants to talk about, how does he have 5 wins? It's amazing. Keenan Allen not playing today wouldn't have made a difference. What, they would have had maybe one more touchdown. Doesn't matter. They still gave up 63 points. Justin Herbert, why do you believe he wouldn't request a trade, Mario? He's the only guy that comes out of today feeling good about himself, I would say. Everybody in the nation saw this. This team really sucks without me. They suck with me, but they're the worst team in the league without me.
I think we definitely saw too that he's the heart and soul of this team, right? Like we always wondered who's the heart and soul of this locker room, who's the heart and soul of this team. It's definitely Herbert because this team, I mean, they collapsed without him, just absolutely collapsed. And I know I sound like a little bit surprised because, like, well, no crap, the franchise QB, like the leader, the team captain, like obviously it'd be a big effect when he goes out. But a lot of times on these football teams, like it's obviously the QB's a big leader, but there's other guys in that locker room that kind of hold it together. And right now it's pretty obvious that, yeah, it was Herbert all along. It's Herbert that's the one that makes sure that this team goes. And like you said, I don't know what if I'm Herbert or like what would make Herbert go, yeah, I'm happy with what we have going on here. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if a conversation with Dean or his, son that just seems like the brightest guy in the world. I don't know if a conversation with them and going, hey, we want you in our discussions of everything we want going forward. We want discussions with you on, the next head coach, what direction we want to take this organization. That's also, I think, a tricky conversation where you want them in on it, but not too much because a player is a player, but players don't understand GM options, GM roles. They don't understand coaching roles. If you don't believe me, you think a player should get all that, go look at Kevin Durant's career and tell me different. But that's my thing is, Dave, I think you got to have a conversation going, hey, I guess more of a check-in, maybe include him on everything. But to Josh's question, like, I don't know if I'm Herbert, like, I don't know what's keeping me here. Like, what the hell would keep me here? Besides 250 freaking million.
I can't remember too many NFL players at least ever requested a trade. I mean, he's the face of the franchise. And I mean, most people know if you're an NFL fan, when you think of a team, you think of the quarterback first. That's just the way it is. The thing is, there are so many holes. There are only 7 rounds in a draft, right? I mean, you can't, even if they hit on all 7, how great's this team? You don't know. I mean, they're going to have to figure out a smart way through either free agency or trading guys to get multiple picks. You have a lot to fix on this team. And unfortunately, you have a quarterback, father time will get you. You only have a certain amount of years that you're wasting, and people will look back and go, man, he wasted a lot of years with Justin Herbert when he was ready to keep going. It's very, very frustrating. I agree with you, Mario. I would make him part of the process on the coaching search. I would let the coach know that, hey, this guy's important to us. He might be the only guy here that, basically that matters to us who currently wears the uniform. That sounds bad to the other guys on the team. Keenan Allen's older. Keenan Allen will be out of this league in a few years. Unfortunately, we wasted Keenan Allen's career too. But Justin Herbert, there's still time to get it right. And unfortunately, he has a losing record as a starting quarterback, but I think people think he's better than his record. I think most people around the NFL would say that too. It's not just being a Charger fan that we say that. I think most people consider Justin Herbert an elite quarterback, and he is. I got really frustrated when you're talking, Mario, because when you said the coaching search, damn, man, we were pushing over a year ago for Sean Payton. I think we went back to Sean Payton going back to September of 2022. The guy's in LA. The guy has made it clear that this Charger roster is there for the taking. But, man, you aren't going to pay it. You aren't going to sit there and get rid of a coach that gave you that horrible loss in Jacksonville. The loss to me, and Josh, you tell me if I'm wrong on this one, because we talk about this moment all the time. It wasn't even the loss that I thought was the worst part about them losing to the Jaguars. It was when Joey Bosa threw his helmet down right in front of Brandon Staley, and he picked it up and gave it back to him. And that shows me, did he have no control over this team? Bill Belichick wouldn't have done that. Mike Tomlin wouldn't have done that. All these other coaches that we're big fans of, there's not another coach in the NFL that would have done that. I could have seen Mike Tomlin take the helmet and throwing it 30 yards down the sideline and go get it. I'm not picking up your stuff. What are you, a little kid throwing a tantrum? You're the one not playing well. I'm going to pick your helmet up and go, Joey, you okay? Where the hell was Joey tonight? I didn't see him. I saw Justin with that big oven mitt cast he had going tonight. Whatever the hell that was. I thought he had a broken finger. What's the deal with the big cast and the thumb sticking out? I've never seen that in my life. So can you imagine if Justin goes home tonight and he does that move with the cast? He just takes it off, puts it on the fireplace like it's not really that bad. You're just making it look that bad. So no one ever goes, hey, Justin, tough it out. But what the hell's happening here? I don't understand anything that goes on in this Charger organization at all. Have you ever seen a guy with a cast like that where like the hitchhiker thumb still works, but the whole hand is sitting there like, hey, you got a big oven mitt on? Now go get that pizza out for me. What the hell's going on over there? Who's wrapping that?
Yeah, I mean the thing looks crazy. He had it in a sweatshirt, and I put out an inappropriate tweet earlier about the security guard. I just made a joke.
You apologizing right now?
Yeah, I'm apologizing for that joke. I was told it's family on Twitter, which I didn't know it was a family Twitter thing, but whatever. So we always talk about the Joey Bosa situation with the Jaguars, and I think we talk about it more than any other show because I like to listen to other Chargers podcasts as well to see what they're talking about. And people don't really bring up the Joey Bosa spiking his helmet thing as much as we do. And I was thinking about that. Like, why are we the ones that talk about it the most? And I thought about a parent. And when kids control the household and they tell the parents what to do, if you see your brother or sister, control your parents, you think, now I can control my parents. I don't respect this person. And that's exactly what happened with Joey Bosa when he threw his helmet and Brandon Staley handed it back to him. That was the moment to me. You had to fire him after the game because he lost all respect from the players. You can tell by the way the Chargers play. They're not busting their ass. They're not playing for the coach. And the Chargers have made a huge mistake by keeping him here. Not only has Brandon Staley coached his way out of a job, Kellen Moore, to me, has completely coached his way out of a job. He is supposed to be this glamorous OC that came over from the Cowboys, and he is not that. Mario said it, for the last month. They're going to run the ball on first down every time, and they do. They're very predictable. The guy on the Raiders today picks off a hitch pass and runs it in. You can't tell me he didn't know what was going to happen. This guy knows exactly what Kellen Moore is going to do. Everybody knows exactly what Kellen Moore is going to do, and the Chargers have many problems. You cannot hit in the draft for 7 straight rounds and tell me this is going to be a competitive team next year. It won't. Justin Herbert needs to be CC'd on every email. Hey, Justin, we might switch the hot dogs in the stadium. What do you think? You like beef franks? Ask him everything to see what he has to say. This team's a complete mess, and you're going to lose Justin Herbert unless you include him in everything. And I know Justin Herbert doesn't like the spotlight. He doesn't like to be part of everything the Chargers do, but it's gotten to that point where you need to include him on everything the Chargers do because he is the franchise. He is more important than every single person on the Chargers. Coaches, players, the owner. He's the most important thing. He's the only thing on the Chargers that's right now. We talk about Rashawn Slater, about how he's one of the best left tackles. Hold on a second. Rashawn Slater, if you look at the numbers, he is not one of the best left tackles this year. He's had a bad season. I'm not saying get rid of him or anything. He's still one of the cornerstones. But Justin Herbert is absolutely 100% who you have to build around. And I know trading him for Caleb Williams is irresponsible. I understand. That was for a conversation. But you got to keep this guy happy.
Yeah. Thank you for the Caleb Williams thing. Guys, fun exercise. Love the hot takes coming our way. Love the, like I said, make it funny if you want to come at us. And some of you weren't as funny as you could have been. So work on the jokes, work on the digs, and hit us back next time. I'm glad you brought up the Kellen Moore thing because at one point the Chargers were 1 for 25 on 3rd and 4th down conversions over the last 2 games. At one point they were that. And
is that bad?
It's pretty bad. That's not good. I'll say that. That is definitely not good, especially when you're in an all-in moment. And the thing that sucks too is, like you said, like the first down and the run game and then the screen pass. Like the Kirk and I were sitting there like, he must have gotten the play. Like that guy, like he was right there. Like they were like, yeah, it was the easiest read these guys had to make all year. And the sad thing too is you look at Kellen Moore, this was supposed to be the year to kind of put you in that head coaching cycle, right? He has a good year with Herbert. He's getting some head coaching job interviews. Now, this upcoming offseason, he's probably interviewing for a quarterback's coach. If that. Right. That's what he's probably gonna get. That's where it's gonna stop. And you look at everyone up and down, everyone's getting demoted after this year, Dave. Like everyone's getting demoted. Like, is there one person that's gonna get paid or upgraded?
Going back to what you guys have said, the special teams coach shouldn't be lumped in. I mean, it's ridiculous. That catch by Zach Jones on the Raiders was insane. I mean, the one-handed interception, as you said, he read it perfectly. What was most disappointing about that play to me was immediately I said to Josh, this guy's better hands than Quentin Johnson. That sucks. Man, that hurts. Yeah. He just did it right in front of all of us. Man, it's frustrating. I keep thinking about where this team was or where I thought this team was before the season began when we made our picks. I know I went above and beyond and went with a crazy record and said I expected great things from this team. I thought they're going to bounce back after the disappointing loss in the playoffs last year. I didn't think I had them winning in the division, but I had them going far and said this is a team that should make it at least to the AFC Championship game to show a successful season. Right now, guys, they're 5-9. The last 3 games on the schedule. Buffalo at home, and then that's their last home game of the season. And then they're at Denver and then at KC. I mean, it doesn't look good. I mean, they're looking at a 5-12 season. Holy cow, man. I
Yeah,
would
they are.
house. There's no way they're going to be 5-12 this year. No way.
I think I picked 11-6 was the record I picked this year. That was what I picked. I look like the biggest idiot in the world for believing this
No.
team. I didn't understand at the end of last season that was it. Like when they lost to the Jaguars, I thought, oh, get them next year. Like we're going to be fine. No, that was it, dude. Like that was the kind of the nail in the coffin moment for the Chargers. I had no idea. Obviously, I see it now. Yeah, Mario's right. Everybody gets demoted. There's nobody that walks away from this year with their head up except for 2 guys, Khalil Mack and Keenan Allen, both great seasons. Everybody else, you could say you got to be way better. Way better. Coaches, players, everything. Chargers are going to fire their GM. They're going to fire their coach. They got to bring in all new players. I mean, the thing about this that bothers me the most is I don't know how you fix this. There is no plan. There's really no light at the end of the tunnel right now. You can't tell me there's a clear plan for this team and how you fix this, Mario.
Gotta bring in young talent. See the old, bring in the young. That's all you gotta do, and I think that's the direction you gotta go, right? Like you can't hang on to these guys anymore and say, they got 1 year left in, they got 1 year left in them. They give you everything they had, those guys that they did. Keenan Allen gave you everything you had. Matt gave you everything you had. Bosa gave you everything you had to a certain point. Like these guys, they give you everything. Mike Williams, it just sucks we're at this point where like we can't trust he can go a full year. We just can't trust it anymore. So what's next step? You get young. You get young and then you try to reconstruct and make sure it's not a rebuild. I think that's the direction that you go. And there's also one thing I wanted to bring up tonight. We have to talk about it. Guys, I want to do a round robin. The halftime interview with Staley. Dave, I think he was going to cry. And I was ready for a cry.
I wanted to cry. I wanted to see it. They go, hey, credit to him for doing the interview. Okay. Yeah, you don't get any brownie points. I'm like, this guy should sign him to an extension because he did a halftime interview. I mean, straight out. You know what I would have more respect for him? Hey, man, I'm doing the best I can, and so are our coaches. It's a shame that our players aren't playing what they were told during the week. We coached our players to perform better and be in the right situation at the right time. It's a shame they aren't going with the game plan. If he would have turned it back on the players, I would have had more respect. At least that would have shown me some truth, because he lies to us at the end of every press conference, telling us how the players believe in the system and we're this close. And dude, you've been lying to us the whole year. You've been lying to keep your job. It's frustrating to listen to him. Man, there's nothing Staley says. And I know Josh will answer that same question, but I will say this, going back to what you said, Mario, because I'm going to forget, because you'll pull the old man card on me and say I forgot. I'll say this: what the Chargers have to sell the fan base on, and Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, whoever's back next year that can actually play, they have to sell them on hope. And that's why whatever GM you bring in, it has to be either a guy with an established track record, which you aren't going to get. You aren't going to all of a sudden steal the Ravens GM. But if you bring in a guy that was John Lynch's right-hand man in San Francisco, or Baltimore's right-hand man, or Philadelphia, somebody who has a track record of drafting great, and you sell the fan base on hope, and then he goes ahead and hires a name coach, not a coach we haven't heard before, a guy who's up and coming. The only coach that I will settle for that's an up-and-coming coach is Ben Johnson, the OC with Detroit. He's the only one. Otherwise, it better be a name guy that we all know that has a history of winning. Otherwise, it's the same damn dog and pony show. I don't want to see the same thing over and over again. You better be serious about winning. You had a chance with Sean Payton. Oh, that money is ridiculous. We aren't bringing in Sean Payton. Well, guess what? The Denver Broncos have bought in. Now, all of a sudden, nobody wants to play the Denver Broncos.
Nobody wants to play the Denver Broncos. They're going to make a push for the playoffs because they're good. Carissa Thompson was at the game, right? She was there on set. Today was the day Brandon Staley doesn't have to talk at halftime. She's going to make it up anyway.
Yeah,
he had his out. She was right there. Yeah. I talked to Brandon Staley. He said they need to improve on defense. Back to you guys. I mean, come on, Brandon. She's right there. Today was your out. The coaching situation. Who would want this job? I understand Justin Herbert. You have a franchise quarterback. Are you going to be able to make decisions? Are you going to be undermined by John Spanos? Why would you want this job? Who's even out there? I know the graphic today that went around, Peyton Manning and Justin Herbert have similar stats and records at this point in their career. Then Tony Dungy came in and saved the day for the Indianapolis Colts. Tony Dungy's not walking through the door. All right. There's nobody that's coming in that I can think of that's going to save this team now. There's no coach that's out there that everybody's talking about. Harbaugh's the only person I can think of, and there's no guarantee he's going to coach in the NFL. Don't give me that. Fix the team first. I know the head coach is very important. You got to spend the money because they never do. But you got to hit on the coach. You got to hit on the players in the draft. You got to hit on free agency. You can't miss anymore. You can't miss with Jerry Tillery, a guy that had a sack today and played good against your team when you drafted him in the first round. You can't miss on Zion Johnson. You can't miss on Darius Davis. You got to play Henley. You can't have these guys just sit around or just not be good enough to be in the NFL. You can't do this anymore. You see the Raiders, how they've missed so many picks in the last few years. They just kicked your ass by 42 points. Okay? That team sucks at drafting and they kicked your ass. What do you guys do well? We just brought it up a few minutes ago. What did the Chargers do well? They need to fix everything. Everything, Mario. Head coach, free agency, draft picks. No more of this, man. And I don't know how you do it. I just keep thinking in my head, how do you do it? Wakes me up at night. How do you fix this?
I think if you're on the search for head coach, you really got to sell Herbert, man. You really got to sell that and hope that just drives the ship home for any coach that you can get through that door. I think that's the fourth and foremost thing you got to do. And then with that GM, you got to make sure, like, all right, I think you got to give them a little bit of free reign of what they want to do. Like, there can't be Spanos, you can't be on their ass, man. You got to let them go. You got to let the eagle fly. Like, that's what we got to let happen. That's what you got to do. And in terms of the halftime speech, I'm so happy. I don't know if Dave or Josh, it's really late at night, so my memory's shot. But one of you guys mentioned well, good for him for taking the interview. You mean good for him for doing his job? That's the job. Like, you're a head coach. You're going to get interviewed at half. They tell you that before the game. There's some media person that comes tells you you're going to get interviewed at half. All right? It's part of the job. Like, it's not a newsflash. It's not like, oh, I got a press conference. Oh, you just never put that in a job description. Do I got to call plays too? Like, no, that's part of the job. Like, don't patronize them. But wow, that shows something. No, it doesn't, dude. It's part of the freaking job. If you didn't want that part of the job, don't do it. That just sent me. And Staley, like, dude, I literally thought he was gonna ball up and cry, which you gotta do what you gotta do. You're in a tough spot. You're fired. I don't know what I would have wanted him to say. I think I would have just did the Greg Popovich short and sweet. We suck. What do you need to do about it in the second half? Play better football. Thanks.
I would have appreciated that. I would have appreciated that.
I think that's what you have to do. You just get in and get out. And don't run to the locker room past all your players. That doesn't make you look good. That makes all your players look so bad that you're running past them.
What a hustle.
Yeah. Good hustle, kid.
Yeah, he ran faster into that locker room than Giannis last night. It was ridiculous. That's true.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Dude, speaking of coaches who don't handle things well, Mario, when I used to cover the NBA in the 90s and early 2000s, the Golden State Warriors had a coach, Al Attles, who, believe it or not, was before my time as a player, but he's a big dude. He's like 6'10", 7 feet tall, probably about 400 pounds. And he talked to the media, and the Warriors lost to the Clippers. And then he walks about 10 feet from us, and he walks into a phone booth, and he closes the door, and he just cried inside the phone booth. It's right in front of all of us. It's like, dude, it's made out of glass, Al. We can all see you. And it was the saddest thing you've ever seen, to just see this big, giant man stuck in a phone booth crying hard. And you're going, oh, my goodness. And you're right. I thought Staley was going to start crying. But I tell you what, if he would have started crying, be honest, would you have felt bad for him?
I feel bad for him now. He doesn't need to cry at halftime. I feel bad for him now. I don't he's a horrible head coach.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I do. He shouldn't be in this role. He's under bad leadership. He's a bad leader too, but he shouldn't be in this role. Cut this guy loose. Put him out of his misery. He doesn't need to be there anymore. Dude, you're already a bad coach. You're going to get fired no matter what. You can leave now. You bring in anybody else. You can't tell me there's anybody on that staff that can
God,
work
man,
than him.
I really don't want them to fire anybody, Josh. I don't want them to fire him.
No,
Not because I feel bad for him. I don't want them to do it now to sit there and act like they're saving face. Don't do that.
I'm
You
not
waited
saying
too
fire him
long.
now. I'm not saying fire him now. They should have done this already. At this
Yeah.
point, though, I feel bad for him in the sense that he's still there.
Yeah.
Like that's the sense that I feel bad for him, that, you know, if he cries, like I'm crying. I feel bad for myself. Like I don't need him to cry. I'm crying. How do you think I'm gonna sleep tonight? Probably not. It sucks. And I want to bring up one thing because we can't gloss over this because it drove me nuts. And I know anybody that, you know, watched the entire game saw this as well. Austin Eckler pointing on first downs was the worst thing I saw today. And the whole game was bad. Buddy, we're losing by 60 points. Why are you pointing? Why are you pointing? It's the craziest thing
in the NFL.
In the NFL, dude, do you not know what the score is? You're embarrassing us. Not only yourself, but us. What do you think the players on the team are thinking? Jesus, Austin, put your arms down, dude. Like what? It was unbelievable to watch.
Like, Austin, you're averaging 2.3 yards per carry. Let's not celebrate right now, buddy. Let's get over to the 3.
Yeah.
Like, come on. That was bad. That was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me, Mario, I'm going to tell a quick story real quick.
Go ahead.
This is what it reminded me of. My freshman year in high school, the high school team I was on was in the playoffs, right? And we're down by like 10 points with 30 seconds left. We're going to lose, right? And you got the senior who never played. He was walking up and down the sideline and he was crying because it's his last game ever, even though he never played. And he goes, "Don't quit, guys. Don't quit. It's not over yet." And then one guy that was a player on the team said, "Kyle, shut the hell up. It's over." And that's exactly what it reminded me of. That Austin Eckler was trying to pump up the team. Hey, we're here. No, we're not. It's over. Yeah. It's over, Austin. Like, you're super embarrassing yourself right now. But that story was what I thought of.
Yeah. Austin, you're about to lose your shoe deal with 3 games to go. You've been such an embarrassment. Calm down. You know, good God, what the hell are you doing? It's over, Austin. Because I'm pointing is right. I don't know what's going on at this damn team. I mean, they're delusional. But I'll tell you what, man, I always felt that way with the Chargers. The Chargers, and anyone who ever worked with the Chargers will tell you the same thing. The Chargers used to treat people like they had the track record of what the Patriots did for the last 20 years. And they're like, you guys haven't won anything yet. Why do you treat people the way you treat people? I almost feel like it's a karma deal with the Chargers. Like you do not treat people great, but you don't take care of your job. And your job is to put this team in a position to win, and not just win and have a decent season or win the AFC West. Your job's to try and win a Super Bowl. And can you honestly say, as a Spanos family, have you done everything possible to win a Super Bowl? The answer is no. When you hire no-name coaches or guys who we know aren't head coaches, Norv Turner's a really nice guy. He's not a head coach. He was a great coordinator. That's what he was. But they over and over again, they hire guys who are not head coaches in this league. Staley was never going to be a decent head coach. And right now it's gone from bad to worse. This is an all-time low right now with the Brandon Staley era. It cannot get worse than what it is right now.
We say that every week. We can't.
No, we're worse this week than we were last.
This is the lowest.
This is the lowest.
This is the lowest. This is the lowest.
I know. Oh, this is definitely the lowest. I'm not saying it's not the lowest, but
wait till next week. Wait till next Saturday.
Wait till next week.
Yeah.
Dude, this is just as bad as the Dolphins kicking the crap out of the Broncos. Like, today was just as bad.
That's why I wanted the 70.
How pumped are the Buffalo Bills? How pumped? You have this brutal gauntlet, and you see this game and go, okay, we at least face the Chargers. Brutal.
Everybody's thinking that. Broncos are thinking that. Chiefs are thinking that. Watching this game, this is a joke. Is what they're
Taylor
thinking.
Swift's thinking it. Yeah, everyone is.
Yeah. Hey, baby, we'll kick some ass in a couple weeks.
Yeah. They're really gonna go off. They're gonna get that 1 seed now. So Merry Christmas to them and Happy Holidays.
Yeah, Chargers might end up picking the top 5. Who's will see how this thing plays out? It's unbelievable the way it is gone. One thing about LA, Mario, is in LA, man, they support you if you win. You have to be exciting and you have to win at the same time. And it's weird as this day happened, now when we talk about people, what they do for their entertainment dollar and when they're going to spend their money and everything else. I mean, the Lakers obviously are always going to be a big thing, but hardly anybody can afford a Laker ticket. I mean, Laker tickets are absolutely insane. But in the day that the Chargers really suffered the most embarrassing loss, I think since they've been in Los Angeles, this is the day they announced Ohtani, and then they pull off a trade 2 hours later for a frontline pitcher, and you're going, okay, entertainment dollar in my head. What are we doing in 2024? Is it going to the Dodgers? Are we going to save up for the Lakers? I tell you what, you don't want it going to the Rams because that is a direct competition of your sport and what you do. And if you're Dean Spanos, in all honesty, you have to be concerned about that. Where's the entertainment dollar go? Now, at the same time, it's one of the things that drives me nuts about fans is, you look at a stadium and go, oh, man, you see how many Broncos fans were at SoFi, all that stuff. Look, man, the money's still green. I got it. A buddy of mine who has been a season ticket holder for the Chargers for 25 years told me already. He goes, I sold my Buffalo Bills tickets. I said, you did? He has 4 tickets right behind the end zone in the front row. He goes, $450 a shot. Sold them Buffalo Bills fans. So he makes money back, puts them towards season tickets next year. And at the same time, he knows he gave his tickets to Bills fans. Charger fans hate that stuff when you sell tickets to the other team. But at the same time, he's like, why should I support this? I might as well get some money back and aim for a fresh start next year. So you got to be concerned, I think, if you own a pro franchise in Los Angeles, of they only support champions and winners. Nobody wants to be associated with a loser because it's easy to find a winner in that city.
Easy to find a winner in that city. I think it's a great point. If you're in New York, you'd say it's very similar because they have a bunch of teams. All those teams kind of stink, right? The Giants are no good. Yeah, the Giants are no good, right? The Jets are no good. Knicks aren't good. Nets aren't good. Yankees aren't very good lately. In LA, it's not the case, right? You got a lot of good teams. You got to stay relevant. This isn't Lincoln, Nebraska, where you're competing with nobody. You're competing with a bunch of other teams, like Dave said. You have to stay relevant, and you have to do right by its fans. I totally believe in karma. If you're not going to do right by its fans and put a competitor out there, it's just not going to go your way, especially in the NFL where there's so much parity. You can get your ass kicked against any team. The Chargers have not done right by its fans. Ownership has not done right by its fans for a long time, by not paying for head coaches, by not getting the right players, by not having the right people in the right positions. John Spanos should have nothing to do with the decision-making with the Chargers, ever.
Yep.
You cannot do that to its fans. It's just wrong. And once again, I completely agree with what Dave said, and people don't bring that up enough. You're not only competing with the rest of the NFL teams, you're competing in your city with like a million other teams. Like, seriously, there's so many teams in LA. You're such a footnote compared to the Lakers and the Dodgers, even the MLS teams, when you get your ass kicked like this.
Go see Bronny James at USC. Go see a college kid at USC.
100%.
I mean, it's expensive to live in California.
If Caleb Williams and USC was good this year, they'd be a bigger story than the Chargers. If they were a playoff team, be a much bigger story than the Chargers. And that's a college team.
I mean, hell, like the Rams are about to make a playoff run. They're literally about to make a playoff run this year. Like and they actually wasn't set up that way. And by the way, they have a new young star at wide receiver. Yep. So there's 2 new star wide receivers coming.
That is the most frustrating thing.
Tyron Williams is a stud. Another rookie.
I'll keep selling stock in that. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? You don't like him?
I'll just the running back stuff with a good offensive coordinator. I'll sell stock.
Okay, that's fair.
Because usually I'm like, there's someone else that's a revolving door. Sometimes I think so. I'm like,
why don't the Chargers ever get part of that revolving door then?
Because our offensive coordinator always sucks.
Good point. That is true.
That is true.
But
yeah. But
honestly,
go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna tie a bow on it. Say, we'll Charger fans. It's Santa's on his way. So when you do your Christmas list and just wish for an offensive-minded head coach, or you can wish for your whole family to subscribe to the Bolt City podcast on YouTube, and then to download the podcast on anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're not beggars, so you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah, not always fun, but entertaining, I would say.
Yeah, always a good time.
Okay, if you could go back, all right, to the NFL draft in 2023, and if it was the Chargers that drafted a guy like Nakua or drafted Nakua, and it was the Rams that drafted Quentin Johnston, first we'd lose our mind. Who the hell's Nakua? And we'd be trashing the hell out of the Chargers for about 4 months. But then when we saw how good he was, we go, oh my gosh, Telesco's a genius. Guess what? Probably would have kept his job. Two, we wouldn't have felt so bad about what's going on. At the same time, the Rams wouldn't be in the position they're in. Same exact position, taken miles apart, and yet the Chargers are the ones with egg on their face, and the Rams look like geniuses.
Well, the Rams are in a worse situation than the Chargers, right? Because they didn't have any draft picks, and they made the most out of their draft picks.
They had to trade Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, but
yeah,
they had
to
nothing.
Get rid of Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, they had nothing, and
Aaron Donald's threatening to retire every second. Stafford's rumored to be traded to the Jets. All that stuff's going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. People want to talk about Justin Herbert winning 5 games with this dumpster fire. Brandon Staley winning the Super Bowl as a DC. Dude, that's the miracle of Jesus himself, if I've ever seen it.
Like that, Sean McVay just got more points in my book.
Oh my God,
you're a hell of a coach.
Dude, you're the greatest coach.
Yeah, like geez, man.
Good Lord,
you guys hell talented.
Oh, man, unbelievable. All right, so here's the deal. We'll be back, if I'm not mistaken. We are not doing a show on Sunday. Mario's celebrating Christmas early.
Yeah, celebrating Christmas early with the Heron family. So if all people complaining, I am sorry. But Christmas comes first. And if you don't think Christmas comes first, well, you're getting coal and up yours. So Christmas comes first.
Christmas comes first. It comes on the 17th in your house.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't have a big family and celebrate stuff.
I didn't realize Jesus was a preemie. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, Jesus saved me, so I don't know if he saved you, buddy. So he said we can celebrate anytime we want. So, yeah, we want to get all the nieces and the nephews together. So we're doing it on the 17th. We're building gingerbread houses, doing the cookies, doing all the good stuff. I think 7. I don't really know my holiday schedule. I think 7 fishes are that day. If it's not, I don't know. I'm not really a part of the 7 fishes. I'm usually overserved by that point and either playing with the nieces and nephews or really riding out a large bet at a sporting event. So I'll keep you guys posted if you have 7 fishes or not. But yeah, so no show on Sunday, but good fun one on Tuesday. So why don't everyone tune in, make sure you subscribe. And if you're really that mad, you can go ahead and I don't know, tweet at me for it. Or if you're that mad, you can put in your comments your biggest insult you could think for me, and I'll read them out loud next show. How about that?
I like that even better.
Yeah, biggest insult.
Wasn't it Christmas where your dad got so mad at you for being overserved that he tried to get the hell out of the house?
Yeah, no, okay. So that night started with, it was me and my closest sibling, and we lost the top to the bottle. And so we're just like, we'll just drink out of the bottle. Well, that went into him telling me that I am soft and he can still beat me up, which I said no, because I have like 20 pounds on him now. And then I tackled him into Santa, and we broke Santa. And then as he's talking about us and mad at us that we broke Santa, he went for the takedown and swept my legs and got me on a takedown, which I was not happy about. So I swung back at him, and then he just kept yelling, "You're grown man in my damn house. Get out. You're done. So we got kicked out. And then we walked to my, which is far.
I like how you said he walked it. Yeah,
we walked out
I like it.
Walked out 0.8. Walked about 0.8 Noblesville, Indiana, shoving each other in the snow to my builder's house where we rang the doorbell. My niece and nephew thought it was Santa, and it was just two uncles on his front door, soaking wet because we were tackling each other in the snow. Just going, "Hey, we got to sleep on the couch." Oldest sibling just looked at us because you guys got to get it together. But that was about 2 years ago, and we have.
You got to get it together. All right, well, good luck to you then. All right.
Yeah. We'll beat his ass this year, that's for sure.
All right. Yeah. Make the show proud. Do it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll take a video of him catching a left hook.
I hope so. I hope you tackle better than Kenneth Murray. Good luck to you. We're counting on you.
Yeah. It's not hard to do.
No. So we'll be back on Tuesday. Again, if you're listening to the show through the Bolt City Podcast Odyssey app, we appreciate it. Leave your comments on YouTube. You guys have been great. Honestly, the highlight of this year has been the people leaving comments on YouTube and watching the show grow and subscribe. It's been absolutely outstanding. So we appreciate it. If you celebrate Christmas a week early like Mario, hey, Merry Christmas to you. Otherwise, we'll see you on Tuesday. So for Mario Heron, Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. We'll see you next time.